Hey, what's up? If you're new to the channel or don't know me, my name is Josh Cohen, just sharing some Bible stories with you. Today, I am repping Chad Ochocinco. So I'm not a Bengals fan, but if you watched football in the early 2000s, you remember Chad Johnson. He did a bit where I think it was during during Hispanic Heritage Month, where he put Ochocinco on the back of his jersey just for fun, I think pregame, and then the NFL fined him. So then he legally changed his name to Chad Ochocinco so that it would say Ochocinco on the back of his jersey. So I bought one because I love orange. I think the jerseys with the stripes are, I don't know, they're just kind of fun. The Bengals are, I don't like the Bengals, but so it says Ochocinco on the back. You can't tell from that, but that's why I got it, because I thought it was cool to have a jersey that said Ochocinco on the back. And Chad Johnson was fun, and he was a fun player to watch. So this is the Chad Ochocinco jersey. And if my high school Spanish teacher sees this, or anybody that speaks Spanish, I know Ochocinco is not how you say 85. It's 85. I think 85 is 85. Doesn't matter. That's not the point. Chad Ochocinco. I don't know if he changed his name back or if he still is Ochocinco. It's a good question in the chat. Let me know if you know if Chad Johnson is back to Chad Johnson or if he's still Chad Ochocinco. The story I'm sharing with you guys today is John chapter 9. A blind man is healed. I think it's kind of a bummer that we don't ever hear his name, but here we are. Verse 1 through 7. Now, as Jesus passed by, he saw a man who was blind from birth, and his disciples asked him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" Jesus answered, "Neither this man nor his parents sinned, but that the works of God should be revealed in him. I must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. The night is coming when no one can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world." When he had said these things, he spat on the ground and made clay with the saliva, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay. And he said to him, "Go wash in the pool of Siloam, which is translated sent." So he went and washed and came back seeing. So this dude, blind since birth, the disciples are like, was it him or his parents? And just like, honestly, neither, but I'm going to heal him, right? And then we'll just kind of keep reading here a little bit. He spits in the ground, makes mud, puts it in his eyes, which I think is gross. But he does it, and he tells him to go wash. And then the Pharisees see this. It's the Sabbath, so they're mad. They ask his parents, verse 20 and 21, they ask his parents, like, is this guy blind? Was he blind since birth? Is this your son? Whatever. His parents answered them and said, "We know that this is our son, and he was born blind. But by what means he now sees, we don't know, or who opened his eyes, we don't know. He is of age. Ask him. He'll speak for himself." I just think it's funny that they're like, "Why are you asking us? Like, go ask him." All right. Because they didn't like the answer that he was giving them. But so they did. They go ask him, and they're like, "Jesus couldn't heal you. It was the Sabbath. Like, he's a sinner. Like, what are you talking about?" And I just love how this dude responds in verse 25 through 27. He answered and said, "Whether he is a sinner or not, I do not know. One thing I know, though, that I was blind and now I see." Then they said to him again, "What did he do? How did he open your eyes?" He answered them, "I already told you, and you did not listen. Why do you want to hear it again? Do you also want to become his disciples?" I just think it's funny. This dude is he's like, what is your deal? Like, what is going on? Like, I don't know. It's funny. But the crux of this, the climax of this story is not when he gets healed that I want to talk about, even though God does heal, and that's important, and that's great. I hope this encourages you in that if you're looking for a healing. But it says, "Whether he's a sinner or not, I do not know. One thing I know, though, that I was blind and now I see." This story kind of deals with the questions that we all have as Christians, whether it's in your own life, like you're questioning things, or whether it's somebody else is asking you questions. You know, the disciples asked Jesus initially, was it he sinned and he got turned and he was blind because of his sin or because of his parents, because he was born blind, so it must have been his parents' sin. And Jesus is like, no, it's none of that, but so that I can heal him and so that you can see the works of God. I don't believe this is saying that God made him blind just so that Jesus could heal him later, because that doesn't line up with the God that I know when I read through all the scriptures. But what I think Jesus is saying here is, honestly, it doesn't matter why he's blind. He is blind now, and I'm going to show you what God can do by healing him. And so I think so many of us have We do. We just have a lot of questions. You think of, especially when like something terrible happens. I know people who believed in faith for healing and still died. Like, and then you question like, oh, maybe they didn't have enough faith, or like I didn't have enough faith, or I didn't pray enough for them, or someone didn't pray enough, or like what caused it or whatever. I don't know. The truth is we're here now, and God is going to do what God is going to do. And it's okay. God's not afraid of your questions. It's okay to question, but it's where you go with those questions. It's what you do with those questions. And at some point, it's like, you know what, God, I just trust you. I've said this so many times, but I'll continue to say this. One of my favorite sayings: if God was small enough to be fully understood, he wouldn't be big enough to be worshiped. God wouldn't be worthy of worship if my small, finite brain could understand everything that he understands. Then he's not God. He's not the creator of the universe. He's not this great, big God that's worthy of worship. So moving on, yes, he does tell the disciples that, and then he does heal him. And if this is all you take away from this, is that God heals, yes, he does. God healed back then. God heals today. There's no reason that he would do it then and doesn't do it now. God still absolutely heals. That is his will for us to be healed. And so if that's all you take from this and you don't watch the rest of the video, fine, but Jesus heals. We serve a God that heals. But in this, we see it's not always in the way we expect it to, right? We've seen in other stories in the Bible where Jesus just says the words and someone's healed. In this one, he chose to spit in the mud, mix it up, and rub it on the guy's eyes. I don't know why he chose to do it that way, but he did. And that's just how he decided to work, and God does things differently. Maybe there was a deeper meaning behind it about the mud or whatever. I don't know. I feel like God just wants to keep us on our toes, to just keep us trusting him maybe. So he's like, I'm going to do it this way. And just when you think you have it figured out, I'm going to change things and do it differently. I fully believe we just had a couple months ago, people thought the rapture was going to happen, thought Jesus was coming back. We're all going up to heaven, right? I fully believe that if anyone predicts a day that the rapture is going to happen, God says no. And even if he was planning it for thousands of years to do it on that day, if somebody picks it, he says no. Now, this is probably not true. There's no theological basis for what I'm saying. The Bible says no one will know the day or the hour. So why do people think they can pick the day or the hour? God's not as petty as me, but what I would do is literally every time somebody picked a date, I would cross it off the calendar and say, nope, that's not the day I'm coming back. And maybe that's why he hasn't come back yet, because you keep picking dates. And so he has to keep changing it every single time and say, nope, not doing that. No, not doing that. If I was God, again, God's not as petty as I am, but I would not have somebody get up to heaven at the rapture and be like, I was right. You were all wrong. I got it right. I picked the day. I don't think that's going to happen. God said no one will know the day or the hour. So stop predicting the day so that he can come back. Random rant, side note, don't worry about that. But God doesn't move the way we expect him to, right? I loved the song, Do It Again. I think it was Elevation Worship. I've seen you move the mountains, do it again, right? God can move mountains and God will move mountains, but he's not. And I think we get stuck in our minds, do it again the same way you did it last time. So okay, God answered my prayer when I did this, so let me do this again and he'll answer my prayer again. He might, I don't know, but he might do it a different way. I think God likes to keep us on our toes. I know he likes to keep me on my toes because I like to have a plan. I like to figure things out. So when I do think I have I swear, when I think I have something figured out, whether it's a business idea or a person that I'm working with or whatever, I feel like God's like, I can't do it if you think it's going to be that way. I got to keep you on your toes. I can't let you, I don't know. Again, I don't know. I don't know how God works. Again, he's bigger than me. He's obviously smarter than me. But that's why we need to just trust him and let him work. And if you only allow God, if you're like, okay, God, you can move in my life, but this is the way that I like God to move in my life, so stick in this lane, right? If I was choosing how to be healed, I would not say, God, yes, please heal me, but don't spit in mud and put it on my eyes. I don't want that, right? That's not how God works. God, I think he's just trying to keep us on our toes, because what's more important than what we get or even how we get it, it's that we continue to trust him no matter what, even when we don't understand. And that's why I love in this story when they say, is Jesus a sinner? And he's like, I don't know whether he was a sinner or not. I don't know, but I was blind and now I see. And a lot of us just think we have to have all of the answers, whether it's for ourselves and our own salvation and our own, am I going to continue to be a Christian? Am I going to go to church? We want to have all the answers first. When we're talking to other people or trying to maybe witness to people, evangelize or share or debate with unbelievers, we try to have all the answers. We don't have all the answers. None of us have all the answers, but we don't need the answers. What we need is to experience God. I've said this so many times. We need to experience God for ourselves and then share that experience with other people, right? People can't argue. The power of your story is so powerful. I was just talking to somebody the other day who he's an adult now. He's older than I am, but he speaks to teenagers about when he was a teenager, he tried to commit suicide, and he calls himself a suicide survivor, which I think is amazing. But so he can meet people where they're at. He can have those conversations with teenagers about, hey, look, I was there when I was in high school. I understand what you're going through. I understand, not exactly, but I understand the frustration, the disappointment, the wanting to end your life. And he can have those conversations that other people can't. And, you think about battling addiction, whether it's drugs or alcohols or pornography or whatever it is. If I haven't experienced those things, I can still talk to people. I can still say you can be free by the power of Jesus. But who can really talk to them and who they'll really listen to is someone who's been through it before. Someone who was addicted and overcame that. That experience is so much more powerful than any data, any science, any things I can put down. I remember when I worked at the church, I was a part of a diversity committee, and there was like a presentation we were supposed to give about figures with racial tensions within the church, not our church specifically, but like the broader church in America, right? It was, 2020 and after George Floyd and all of that. And I just remember thinking and having conversations with like, man, I can read all these statistics over and over again. And for some people, maybe that connects with them if that's the way their brain works. But what's way more powerful? Hearing from somebody who's lived it, somebody who's experienced it, somebody who's been through it, right? And I just think the power of your story is so important for two reasons. One, because you can't argue with your story. Nobody can argue with my story, right? Nobody can say I didn't experience God when I know I did. Nobody can say I wasn't healed when I was healed, right? I don't know if Jesus was a sinner, if he was God, if he was a prophet, if he was a doc. I have no idea. I don't need to know. I know that I'm healed. I was blind and now I see. If that's the story you can tell people, that's how you share your faith. That's how you encourage people. Honestly, I start with myself, right? Like when I get frustrated, when I have questions, when I get disheartened and concerned, when you talk about 2020 and 2021 and the things we went through and the people we lost, like I had questions, but I had to go back to, but no, I experienced this. I saw God do this. I know what God can do and will do. God is real because I have experienced it for myself. I'm not trying to convince anyone else. Honestly, someone wants to have a conversation with me, we can have a conversation. But I don't think most of us, I know I'm not called to be like, was it Cliff and his son go around and do apologetics at different universities or whatever I think that's great. If that's what they're called to do, he can speak to that. He's an intellectual. He's obviously done the work to not just know the information, but how to present it well. He does a great job. But I'm not called to do that, and I don't think most of us are. I think most of us are called to experience God and share that with people, because people can't argue with your experience, and then also they can just connect with it so much better. There's a reason why the Democratic Party presents themselves as such a people first, and we care about people, because they tell these stories about the single mother, right? And the Republicans will try to give all these like stats and figures on why these laws or these policies or whatever. And the Democrats just kind of like, yeah, but this single mom. Yeah, but this school, but this. Like, I'm not here to tell you which way to vote or whatever, but I'm just saying like there's something powerful about someone's story. And there's something powerful about your story. And if you're afraid to share it because you don't have all of the answers on how it happened or why it happened or what God is doing now, don't worry about that stuff. Tell them your story. Tell them that you were blind and now you see. And then invite them to hear from God from themselves. Invite them to do their own research, to study things out. But you don't have to have all the answers. The guy didn't have the answers. He didn't know if Jesus was God or if Jesus was a sinner. He doesn't know. But all he knew is that I was blind and now I see.